Okay, here's standard from Sunday, December 1st. I see you in the barn working on her contacts more. It's really good. Because you can train a early or quick release, which is kind of what I'm working on with Keegan. But man, you've got to at least have, the good contact and training. And that's where I'm at with Keegan. Like, he's got great contacts and training, but in trial he tends to not do great. That was good to keep going, though, because she's just kind of doing some green dog things right now. It's probably kind of hard because she's green, but at the same time, she's really good, so you probably forget sometimes that she is green. Okay, so here, probably the biggest problem was that she just didn't stop on the contact like she was supposed to, because you are kind of pointed this way, and she probably just saw the tunnel from the top of the A-frame, and then because she doesn't stop, she just didn't, she probably never even really thought about doing anything else but that tunnel. Oh no, look, she did sort of come with you, didn't she? She came with you a little tiny bit. So you probably could have maybe turn your shoulders into her a little bit, but I don't know that I would have thought to do that. Well, I would have with Riley to keep him out of that tunnel, but that's kind of a hard one to predict, I guess. Because a more advanced dog probably wouldn't have gone to the tunnel, because you were pulling to the left. And that's good. You had good distance from the tire, but now I think you're almost too far ahead of her for her to want to do that teeter. But I don't know. You probably know that better. Good girl. And this was a nice way to handle this. A lot of people did it this way. Okay, so see how you used your outside arm here again, but this is correct because you're basically doing a rear cross on the flat. So the dog is on the ground, your outside arm is up, you're moving that way, you're doing a rear cross on the flat. So this would be an appropriate use of the outside arm. See how you did that cross on the flat? She still hasn't taken the jump. And now you've already crossed behind her and she's lifting off. So that's a rear cross on the flat, and that is when you do want to use your outside arm for that type of rear cross, when you're not sending her forward. That was all good. You would have had time to do a cross there because you held up for her there. I don't know if you saw that. You're getting a lot of distance with her, and I think that's fine because she's fast and big-strided, and that's nice to be able to be ahead, but then don't, I don't know, I don't want you to like fall into a trap or something of always being that far away from everything, because then when you do need to be close to something, it will be difficult. So I think it would have been okay to go in a little deeper to this one, and still you could have probably done a front cross in here. But here, you're so far ahead. You could have easily done a cross here, and instead you end up decelerating right before the triple, and then cutting across this way. So you could have done a front cross or a blind cross in there. Probably you were so far ahead, the blind would have been good too. So this is, you do this a lot, where you throw that arm up really quick, and then you bring it down, And see, you throw it up and you bring it down, and then you're actually very slightly starting to move that way. It's really subtle. I'll go back and play it in slow motion again. And you're also decelerating. Look at your body. You're decelerating. Your shoulders are facing that way. They should be facing that way. So she was absolutely correct to do that. You need to give forward cues for this jump. Okay? You need to give forward cues for any obstacle that they're going past. So the only time you wouldn't want to give forward cues for that yellow jump is if they're doing a wrap. So you need to give forward cues so she knows to keep going forward. So let's watch. So you throw the arm up and down, you actually decelerate a little bit, and you move just a tiny bit to the left. It's not super a lot, but... And see how you're already turning. Well, she needed to go into that tunnel, so you shouldn't have been turning back here. You should have been giving her forward cues past this yellow jump. You still would have had time to get, while she was in the tunnel, to get ahead. That's one thing I mean about it's nice to be ahead, but you can get ahead. I mean, you're fit and you can move, but you still don't let that interfere with how you cue things, like this jump, if that makes any sense. She's trying really hard to do what you want. And then you do a nice blind at the end of the weaves. Oh, you did a front, sorry. And that was fine. And again here, so we're all probably guilty of this, but you slow down here. Just run past that, especially it's a double. I mean, she doesn't tend to knock bars, but it's a double. You should just give forward cues for it. But you kind of slow down because it's the last thing, and you hadn't qualified, and so you were probably, I mean, I do the same thing too, but anyway.